Da się z tym pracować. You good? You good to go?
Wait.
Okay. Pierwsze pytanie. Czy czujesz się wolna mieszkając w Polsce?
Nie. Nie.
A czy czujesz się w Polsce bezpiecznie?
Niekoniecznie? Nie. O Jezu, nie wiem. Może nie.
Okej. Jest okej. Czy widzisz tutaj swoją przyszłość?
Nie.
I ostatnie pytanie. Czy widzisz tutaj swoją przyszłość?
Nie. Nie.
38 million. That's how many people live in Poland. 90% of Poles under 34 years old have considered some kind of migration. During our lives, we constantly discover our interests, gain experiences that shape us. While my values and interests were forming, I noticed some injustice around me, things that I thought I'm not okay with while being more aware of my surroundings. I was raised by a woman who gave me a choice. Actually, multiple choices throughout my life. I could choose what I want to believe in, what I want to do in life, what I want to do in my free time, what I want to try out. Looking back at it, I was so lucky. I still am. And that's what I have realized is so important to me, to have a choice. But a lot of people don't. January 27th, 2021 was the day when several people in Poland lost part of their freedom. The ruling about stricter abortion law got implemented. From this day on, it is illegal to perform abortions in cases of fetal impairment, which are over 90% of all abortions in Poland. Taking this into account, you can imagine how many people got affected by it. It was in fact not majority of people's will, but the constitutional tribunals, a constitutional court of the Republic of Poland, which on the day of October 22nd, 2020, stated that the current abortion law in Poland is not compatible with the Constitution of the Republic of Poland from 1997, specifically with the Article 38, which says, "The Republic of Poland shall ensure the legal protection of the life of every human being." People got angry, sad, hopeless. They immediately went on the streets, showing their disapproval and expressing emotions which were accompanying it. This caused to hold off publishing of the changes in the Journal of Laws by 3 months. Personally, I remember that when I heard about plans of getting a stricter abortion law, I was sure it will not enter into force. To everyone who was worried, I replied, "Come on, they will not do it. It's impossible. Too many people are against it. It's gonna be hell for the government if they will make it." Because they can't just implement a law which limits people's freedom and is seen as a direct attack on human rights, especially in a highly developed European country, a heart of Europe where everything should be moving forward. Right? But it did happen. It is the reality that we live in. The story behind abortion law in Poland is long and twisted. From 1956 till 1993, anyone could get an abortion without explaining the reason. The law allowed abortions in cases of risk of pregnant person's life and health, in case of rape, fetal impairment, and difficult living conditions. I found out that in reality, after 1959, the doctors didn't have to verify statements about life situation which were needed before to confirm the reason of the abortion, which basically means that from then on, anyone could get an abortion on demand. Without getting into details, from 1997, abortions performed because of difficult living conditions were no longer legal. The newest ruling banning abortions in cases of fetal impairment can give a feeling that we're going back in time. I think that usually we expect a highly developed country to just get more and more open and inclusive with time. Laws and rules should be established by scientific and proven reasons, not by some beliefs. But as you can see, even in the 50s, people in Poland had more rights regarding abortion than they do now, in 2022. While doing my research, trying to gather as much information about the history, but also looking at different aspects like religion and values, I found out that actually the so-called ruling limiting our rights is actually not valid. To not make it too complicated to understand, let's just say that the Constitutional Tribunal's decision was made with the participation of stand-man judges. Those people are not neutral judges, they are people chosen by the president to take place in the court, but in the light of the law, the ruling implemented with those people present is not valid. Knowing that, someone can say, what's the problem then? Well, it gets complicated here. Since the Constitutional Tribunal's task is to supervise the compliance of statutory law with the Polish constitution, the judges creating the judicial body need to be neutral. But they're not. If the president puts their people in the place where they're not allowed to make decisions, they put themselves above the law. And since this is happening, even if doctors would not take the ruling into account and keep performing abortions in cases of fetal impairment, it can result in them losing their job or even going to prison. Even if they decide to risk it and help someone with the abortion, then they will have to face the court, where the judge will need to decide, according to their opinion, if the Constitutional Tribunal's ruling is valid or not. All of this means that the government is putting themselves above the law of Poland as well as European Union. It is a threat for my country to be kicked out of European Union, but what more, it is a real threat for democracy. Current ruling party in Poland is a right-wing party called Law and Justice. It has been in power for 7 years now. Their ideology is about national conservatism and Christian right. Poland is stated to be a secular state, so a country which officially is neutral in matters of religion. It also means there shouldn't be support for any specific religion by the government. Citizens should be treated equally regardless of religion and avoid treating citizens on their religion beliefs. However, it looks different in reality. Religion plays a really big role in politics, and a lot of decisions are made with excuses based on this belief. Discrimination, violating human rights, prejudice, and hate speech being explicitly put up by politicians. I have so many friends and met so many people here in the Netherlands that left Poland to live a better life because they know that for now they do not have a bright future there. And as everyone knows, every country has its flaws, but it's important to find a place where you know that you can truly be yourself. I picked a topic about abortion, which slowly transferred to having a choice, then to democracy, why do people leave Poland, and finally, freedom. But from the beginning, it wasn't just about the abortion law. Deep down, I knew that it is something specific I picked, which is actually about something even more complex. The way it all is so important to me is just the way my life turned out. From a young age, being put in the environment that I was not feeling comfortable in, didn't understand a lot of rules and statements, I think that was the first trigger for me to feel that something is being restrained in me. I followed all the rules like I was told to, not even thinking of questioning some of them. At that time, I felt like I can't truly be myself. Luckily, I had someone who also showed me another option. I faced the choice that I could make myself. I was surrounded by people who showed me how different people can be, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it is not normal to be like this. People who accepted me the way I am, even if in some ways it still can be seen by some as abnormal. I found out that I am a quite empathetic person, and any injustice happening around me just feels wrong. I want people to be able to make their own choices, to live their lives the best they can and let everyone decide what do they want to do with their life. I don't like the idea of living my life by someone else's values. I want to have my choice. During the whole process of the expedition, I found myself exploring a lot about me. It triggered me to reflect, look back at my life, the way I was raised and taught. I want to understand other points of view and distance myself from my beliefs. It showed me how different everyone is, how people's values, beliefs, opinions are affected by their cultural background, characters, experiences, the way they were raised, the people who they were surrounded by. What I find important is that I believe that I slowly started getting out of my bubble. My bubble where I thought if you fight for legalizing same-sex marriage, it means you're open-minded. And if you're pro-life, you're wrong and you're narrow-minded. But there's so much more to it. Everyone has their own unique story, multiple stories, which shape our values and things that we stand for. I have always seen myself as a very open-minded person. When I look back at it, I think that I have been more narrow-minded than I would like to. Well, I don't think I would like to be narrow-minded at all, but that's also a different topic. The point is, I don't think I've ever tried hard enough to understand where people's different opinions came from and judged a lot of them just by disagreeing with me on certain topics. I used to get very angry while discussing some issues, and as I still stand by my values, opinions, and think that human rights and freedom are not something we should be debating on, I for sure have a better mindset towards finding common ground and understand other opinions. The world is not always black and white. It's a million gray areas. I didn't make this video to show how much I hate my native country. I want to love my country. I love how beautiful the scenery is. I love how I grew up surrounded by so many amazing people from this country. I love every time I have an opportunity to visit and speak my native language on a daily basis. I love meeting my loved ones. I wish I felt safe in my country. I wish I would see my future there. I wish I will someday feel free.